2013. Wow. Just wow. 2013, in my opinion, was one of the best, if not the best, year for the video game industry. This year was a year about community, about indie games, about sequels, about AAA titles, about new IPs and remakes. While every year will have its downfalls and its few cringe-worthy moments, 2013 was a year where what shined the brightest. And like every other video game-focused YouTuber, I am making an obligatory top 10 games of 2013. Which game out of the hundreds and hundreds of games did I find deserved to be in my top 10? Which games did I think were the cream of the crop? The 10 best that are worthy of me giving them a recommendation for you to go out and buy right now. Keep in mind, this is my top 10 games of 2013. These are my favorite games of the year. And also keep in mind that I am a PC-only gamer, so if a game that came out on consoles wasn't on the PC, it wasn't a multi-port, then I probably didn't play it, and therefore, games like The Last of Us will not be on the list, unfortunately. Alright, here we go. Number 10, Payday II. Payday II is everything that a sequel should be, making necessary changes, adding necessary additions, but keeping the core gameplay and the core premise still at the forefront. Payday 2 was probably the best co-op multiplayer game of the year. It focuses more on working as a team to get the heist done, instead of racking up kills for XP. It's really, really good fun when you get a bunch of friends together and you pull off a successful heist. Not just that, it is so nice to have a developer who actually cares about their community and their game. Overkill, the developers of the game, have been in constant contact with their community, adding constant fixes and patches, and constantly giving us additional content for free. Not just that, the game has a bunch of variety and replayability to it, with heists that can be replayed over and over again in different ways. And just like the first game, to me personally, the Payday games are the most intense shooters I've ever played. I've never played another first-person shooter that gives me that level of intensity to the shootouts. And to top it all off, the game has an awesome amount of customization for your weapons and character, allowing you to create your own custom gear, your own custom character, leveling him up and choosing certain skills that you want, as well as creating your own custom masks to collect, which is quite addicting. Payday 2 is definitely worth your money. It's a steal. Wink wink. Number 9, Far Cry 3, Blood Dragon. This game is just awesome! I don't know what else to say. It's just awesome! There's no ulterior motive. There's no BS. There's no publishers money-grubbing BS market tactics. It's a game, a single-player only game, that its only purpose is to deliver pure entertainment to the player. Everything about the game is completely focused on entertaining you. The humor, The parodies, the references, the jokes, the combat, the environment, the story, the characters, the premise, it's all pure fun. Silly, stupid, nonsensical fun, which is surprisingly immersive, intelligent, and in-depth. When the sci-fi 80s action heats up, it's a joy to play, taking out all these enemies in a colorful and ridiculous manner. And having the option to be stealthy through all these missions and take on all these enemies in a stealthy way using not your guns, but your knife. It's incredibly satisfying. It's both a great action game and a great stealth game. And the title characters themselves, the Blood Dragons, are an awesome sight to behold, an incredibly challenging and satisfying enemy to defeat. Far Cry Free Blood Dragon, bitches. Welcome back to the 80s, man.
Objective complete.
Are you Sergeant Rex Colt? Dr. Darling said you're some kind of hero.
I'm no hero. I'm just your everyday U.S. military Mark IV cyber commando.
Alrighty.
If he doesn't, I need to apply the touch.
You got the touch!
Goddamn right!
You got the power! When all hell's breaking loose, you'll be right in the eye of the storm!
Number 8, Shadow Warrior. A game I never even heard about till a few days before its launch. It's also one of the very first games I've ever pre-ordered, and it was worth every penny. Shadow Warrior is an immensely fun and challenging game. For those of you who prefer the more old-school style of first-person shooters instead of the new Call of Duty-esque style, Shadow Warrior will make you feel right at home. With really well-done level design, a beautiful graphics engine, and some of the best gunplay and swordplay I have seen this year. Yes, that's right, swordplay. The game's signature melee weapon, the katana, is one of the most fun melee weapons you will ever use because of the versatility that comes with the weapon. It is one of the main reasons to buy the game, just to use the sword. The way it cuts up and slices and dices enemies is a visceral, gory treat to behold. Shadow Warrior is able to be challenging but make you feel like an action movie badass through and through, with a wide array of weaponry to use and upgrade, as well as some awesome magical powers which will greatly aid you in combat. Not just that, Shadow Warrior is one of the few games that is able to balance comedic, nonsensical humor and serious emotional drama very well. The game starts off looking like it's going to be a ridiculous, nonsensical, don't take seriously, kill all the enemies story, but evolves into a deep emotional drama. And your demonic sidekick, Hoji, is one of the best companions I've seen in video game in a while. The protagonist, Lo Wang, and Hoji have an awesome companionship throughout this game, making you laugh and even pulling on a few heartstrings. Hoji is definitely one of the best video game companions out there, and I'm putting him up with the greats. So pick up Shadow Warrior and get to slicing and dicing. Believe me, you will have a good bloody time.
Pretty decent digs. I give it a 7 on the Wangle meter.
Number 7, DMC Devil May Cry. A game that really surprised me. I started off not really caring for this game, not really being interested in it. But then, after seeing some gameplay, I was actually very intrigued. The story is decent enough, the characters are decent enough, and the combat, on PC at least, is phenomenal. This is definitely what the series needed, for the PC at least, after the DMC4 and DMC3 PC ports. Although the game's tone can be moody, broody, and punkish, it's still enjoyable. The environments and levels are creative and are fascinating to look at. The combat in this game is deep, fluid, dynamic, and so much fun. Constantly changing my combos, switching weapons on the fly against a variety of different demons that will give you a challenge. DMC has some satisfying deep combat that will leave you thoroughly entertained. Not just that, the game sports some very nice looking visuals, taking the Unreal 3 graphics engine to its limits. So do yourself a favor and don't overlook this title just because of incredibly harsh fanboy reactions to a remake of the Devil May Cry franchise. It's a fun game that is definitely enjoyable. While its characters may not be as memorable as in the original Devil May Crys, the story and characters are all decent and do their job well enough to support the very fun and dynamic combat. Also, the music in this game, which I thought I really wouldn't like, I found very appealing. The heavy metal rock, actually, I really like, surprisingly. Now what are you waiting for? Grab your pistols, your giant-ass sword, and go kick some demon ass. Number 6, Remember Me. When I first heard of Remember Me, I was really looking forward to it. An original, new IP coming out this year, with a unique premise that I honestly haven't even heard of or thought of before. A sci-fi world where memories can be manipulated, controlled, removed, and remixed. Remember Me has a fantastic, interesting sci-fi story and premise, with one of the best lead protagonists ever. Nilin is an amazing character. I fell in love with her. She's smart, tough, determined, deep, dynamic, interesting, thoughtful. She's a great protagonist and an incredible female character for video games. I hope more video games take note from Remember Me and make more female protagonists like Nilin.
The name is Nilin. This time, you'll remember me.
Not just that, the game has a combat system that I find rivals even that of the Batman Arkham games, stringing combos that not only look dynamic and cool, but are customizable that have completely different effects depending on how you build your combos. I found the customizable combo system very fun, deciding whether I want my punches and kicks to regenerate my health, do extra damage, allow me to use my special abilities quicker. I find the combat very unique and engaging, and something that's very fun to come back to and try different combos on combat situations. Remember Me has a beautiful, unique sci-fi environment. This is a science fiction video game spectacular that rivals other great sci-fi games like Deus Ex Human Revolution, Fallout 3, and other great sci-fi games. I hope you remember to pick up Remember Me as soon as possible.
This little Red Riding Hood's got a basket full of kick-ass!
Everything seems to be in order. The chips are stacked, the deck is shuffled. Let the tournament begin! Gentlemen, I leave you to the tender mercies of GLaDOS.
Good evening.
Great. What the hell? Wayne?
This completes the first test of the contestants' poker faces. The bad news is you all failed miserably. The good news is you appear to be evenly matched.
Number 5. Poker Night 2. The first Poker Night is one of my favorite games of all time, and Poker Night 2 has just been added to that list. What can I say? I love the concept of a bunch of random fictional characters from television and video games just coming together and just playing a few games of poker. To me, that's just brilliant. Sometimes I don't need an adrenaline-inducing action fest. Sometimes it's nice to sit down and just play a few games of cards with some colorful characters. And the Poker Night games give you the most colorful characters possible to play poker with. There's really almost nothing wrong with this game. It's almost perfect if it wasn't for the jerky animations at times that can be distracting, but that doesn't take away from the overall quality and entertainment of the product. It's poker, it's Texas Hold'em, and Omaha, two basic, very fun games of poker that can be enjoyed with the company Brock Sampson, Sam, Claptrap, Ash, and GLaDOS. The games of poker you have with them, the folds, the checks, the all-ins, can be just as memorable as the hilarious and clever meta conversations that these characters have with each other. This game is just a joy to play, and it's relaxing, it's entertaining, it's brilliant. Poker Night 2, everybody. If you enjoy a good game of poker, and you enjoy these characters, pick up this game and indulge in the fantasy of playing with a bunch of TV and video game characters. Number 4, Dead Space 3. The Dead Space games are again some of my favorite video games of all time. So I was looking forward to Dead Space 3, and I was not disappointed. Sure, the few additions and changes, such as microtransactions, weapon building, and co-op, seemed like something that would hurt the game instead of benefit it. But Dead Space, being the fantastic franchise that it is, was able to pull this off in spades. Dead Space is still Dead Space, doing what I love about the series, combining horror and action and blending them into a perfect mix. The story is also pretty good by Dead Space standards. Isaac Clarke is still one of my favorite protagonists, and he's far more well developed in this game, as he was in Dead Space 2. Although they could have handled the relationship problems between Isaac and Ellie a little better, it does its job well enough. Also, something I didn't see coming, I love the co-op of Dead Space 3. I played the entire game with a friend, twice, and we had a blast playing it. I was also really addicted to the weapon crafting system in this game. Being able to create your own custom awesome weapons, like a flamethrower shotgun, or a plasma cutter with a saw blade attachment, is just an awesome thing to take part in. I also really like how Dead Space 3 transitioned from its regular Dead Spacey environment to the new one it's going for. You start off like a traditional Dead Space game would, flying around in the dark reaches of space, exploring derelict ships, filled with deadly and creepy necromorphs, and then transitioning to Tau Volantis, the new snow planet that the game mainly focuses on, and it can also be quite frightening having necromorphs jump out of the snow at you. All in all, Dead Space 3 goes right up there with its predecessors as one of my favorite games. Number 3. Crysis Free. The Crysis games are again some of my favorite video games, and the Crysis series in particular is my favorite first-person shooter franchise. So, I was really hyped for Crysis Free, and I was not let down. It's still the same Crysis that I know and love, with little improvements and changes here and there. Nanosuit customization has been greatly expanded upon, and allowing you to basically create your own custom nanosuit skill set. Do you want to be more stealthy, or do you want to be more action-oriented, or a combination of the two? The Predator Bow is an awesome addition to the nanosuit, allowing you to be a bad-ass super soldier cyber hunter. That's a tongue twister right there. And Crysis Free, like its predecessors, is one of, if not the best looking games of all time. The graphics in this game live up to the Crysis standard of being amazing. I'm one of those guys who, when it comes to the Crysis game and their graphics, are kind of like this.
But I can feel the texture! Okay, no time for that. Gotta keep moving forward. The grass smells so good! God, I'm so in soaking up the environment!
Yeah. Crysis Free is still all the same Crysis I love, giving me the choice of how I want to play the game, whether I want to be stealthy, whether I want to be a badass super soldier action hero. Crysis Free gives me what I want, and that's combat strategy, combat tactics, combat choice. Whether it be how I use my nanosuit powers, how I customize my weapons, or how I traverse the environment, I am always making different choices, and I am replaying the levels in this game like crazy, like I have with the other one. I will never get tired of taking on the mercenary forces of Cell and the alien armies of the Ceph. Crysis Free, man. If you like first-person shooters, and you love combat that gives you actual choice in how you want to do it, the Crysis games are the best way to go. Number 2. Metro Last Light. Now I only got this game on Christmas Day, and I played it on till the New Year's. I actually beat this game right before New Year's Day. And man, it was right in the nick of time. I am so glad I was able to play this game before the year ended, because this game is astounding. The first Metro game, Metro 2033, is a good game. While not one of my favorites, I still play it often, replaying the post-apocalyptic and foreboding dark levels of an apocalyptic Russia. However, Metro Last Light blows its predecessor out of the damn water. Metro Last Light is not only better in every way, shape, and form from Metro 2033, it is one of the best games. Not just first-person shooter-wise, not just story-wise, not just premise-wise. The game is amazing! The environments of this post-apocalyptic Russia are given so much more color, so much more scale, so much more detail. It's impossible not to be totally immersed in this world. It's beautiful in the horrific destruction it presents, all the while giving us intense first-person shooter survival action that is completely engaging. There will be moments where you feel like a total badass, and moments where you will dread wasting any ammunition. But to accompany that, we also have a very, very good story. One full of interesting characters, full of suspense, drama, betrayal, mystery, revenge, and redemption. I was completely immersed in my quest to save the last Dark One child. Metro Last Light is a great, great game. I might as well just come out and say it. I consider this to be my Half-Life 2. Yeah, I went there. And my number one favorite game of 2013 is... Well, I gotta give you a little backstory on this one. As a kid, I loved dragons. And I still love dragons. I can't tell you why I am so fascinated by dragons. And since I love dragons so much, my favorite game of all time was a game called Eye of the Dragon, where you got to play as a dragon. And I didn't think video games could get any better than that. Eye of the Dragon was my favorite game of all time. Not only is my number one pick of 2013 my favorite game of the year, but did what I thought to be impossible. It became my new favorite game of all time. My number one for game of the year, and my personal favorite video game of all time, is Dragon Commander. It's motherfucking Dragon Commander! Do I even have to point out why this thing is the best thing ever? You get to play as a dragon with a jetpack. You get to command and destroy armies of steampunk mechs. You get characters and character choices and decisions and conversations that rival that of Mass Effect. These characters, my generals, my politicians, my engineer, my wizard advisor. All of these characters are colorful, interesting, full of depth, and you will love every single one of them as much as you will hate some of their tendencies and beliefs. Dragon Commander also did something I didn't think possible. It made me engaged and fascinated with politics. I fucking hate politics. I think politicians are the scum of the earth. No offense. But seriously, I was fascinated and enthralled to make massive political decisions that would affect my entire empire. This game has something for everybody. If you like third-person shooting, you can play as the dragon flying around blowing up steampunk mechs. If you like strategy games, RTS-style strategy games, you can just build a base, build a bunch of units, and do it classically, as all the old-school RTSs. If you like board games and card games like Risk, the strategy map is exactly like that, with a bunch of twists and innovations, and I love this game. I love this game. It is unbelievably entertaining, unbelievably challenging, unbelievably immersive, unbelievably fun. I love this game. I love Divinity Dragon Commander. It has an exceptional story, exceptional characters, and exceptional gameplay. It is my number one game of 2013 and my favorite game of all time. Go buy Dragon Commander! Go buy it! What are you waiting for? Go buy Dragon Commander!